You're listening to TIME's D.C. Brief newsletter from April 11th, 2025. This audio was produced by 11 Labs for Time using an AI voice. Our top story today is called Senator Jacky Rosen, Democrats Are Starting to Find Their Footing, by senior correspondent Charlotte Alter. In the hours before President Trump abruptly dialed back his sweeping reciprocal tariffs, Senator Jacky Rosen led her Democratic colleagues in sending a letter to Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick, warning about the tariffs' impact on small businesses. Rosen, a Nevada Democrat, was re-elected to her second term last November, even as Trump won the state for the first time. She talked to Time about how the tariffs will be felt back home, why Nevada is a bellwether for national trends, and why Senator Cory Booker's filibuster-style speech was so important. This interview has been condensed and edited for clarity. What do you think will be the implication of these tariffs? Really, what they are is a national sales tax. What all of this comes down to is, where does everyone manage their lives from? The kitchen table. Everywhere I went, I heard about the price of food. Well, I can tell you that food is going to go through the roof. The price of gas, the price of affordable housing, all the things that go into building a home or apartment, every little nail and insulation and lumber, all of that. So everybody is going to get squeezed. And of course, Nevada, we're going to get double squeezed, because when people are uncertain about their future or how they're going to pay for things, do you think they go on vacation? They do not. We've already seen a reduction in visitors from Canada. We've seen a 70% drop. My friends, my community, my state, we're going to get hit with the higher prices and lower tourism, and we're going to get squeezed from both ends. And that's going to hurt our businesses. You won re-election last year in Nevada, a state Trump won after losing it in the previous two presidential elections. What went wrong for Democrats there, and what did you do differently? Nevada is the most working-class battleground state. We are a pragmatically purple state. Independent-minded people look for pragmatic problem solvers. It's why I won. Hard-working families are hurting from the high cost of living. They wanted change. At the national level, I think Democrats have done a poor job talking to working-class voters and addressing the issues that they care about most. We saw pretty significant losses in 2024 with working-class voters, particularly in our Latino communities, our Asian communities, and those were the key places that I actually overperformed on the ticket. Voters want a leader who's going to listen and going to stand up to the corporate special interests. Can you be more specific? What were you doing that Kamala Harris wasn't? I think that I focused on specifics. Go back to the kitchen table. What's the first thing people think about? They have to buy food. In Nevada, they have two primary grocery store chains, Kroger and Albertsons. They wanted to merge. Now, what does that mean? In some of our rural communities, they were the only two stores in town. So if they merge, you think they're going to keep both stores? Certainly not. That means they're going to lose jobs. And then what else does it mean? Well, there's only one store in town. Do you think they're going to lower the prices? Certainly not. And so we blocked that Kroger-Albertsons merger, which meant a lot to Nevada. We have an affordable housing crisis. Particularly in southern Nevada, we have these corporations who come buy up homes and apartments. So we have legislation trying to block those corporate investors from price gouging folks. We ran TV ads on both of those issues. I talked about it everywhere. I think too many Democrats in D.C. just spent time trying to convince people that maybe inflation wasn't as bad in America as other places, or that they were doing better than they actually were doing. And that's not how people were feeling. And it made our party, I think, seem out of touch. Do the Democrats have a plan to counter Trump? What is it? The losses in the last election and Trump winning, it was a little shocking to everyone. And it's no secret that we're in the minority in Congress and the levers are few and limited. It hasn't even been 100 days. I think we're starting to find our footing now of what the levers are that we can pull here. I think a real turning point was Cory Booker's speech. I think a lot of people went into it thinking, who's going to tune in at 2 a.m? It's just another speech. I will tell you, by the end of it, all of the Democrats came that last hour, and there were tears and clapping like this emotional response. Then we go into all of those hands-off demonstrations, and people started calling us saying, "You guys all stood up. You used your voice. We aren't powerless. We're gonna use ours." I didn't expect it to be such a powerful moment. The tears and applause were coming out in this cathartic moment of, we may not have all the legislative tools, but we are not powerless. Now let's get to work. It was kind of a call to action. I think I feel kind of a renewed purpose. Up next, we have an article called, "In Congress, Trump's Tariff Pullback Sparks Relief, Frustration, and Suspicion," by Time Politics reporter Nick Popley. President Donald Trump's decision to pause most of his newly announced tariffs for 90 days sparked a wave of mixed reactions on Capitol Hill. Jubilation among Republicans, deep skepticism among Democrats, and a fresh round of questions about the president's motivations and methods. The pause, which maintains a 10% global tariff and ratchets up duties on China to 125%, sent markets soaring, with the S&P 500 jumping 9.5%, its sharpest single-day gain since 2008. But while some lawmakers called it a prudent course correction, others saw chaos masquerading as strategy. Senator Tina Smith, a Minnesota Democrat, tells Time of Trump's latest reversal. "It's like he wakes up every morning and has a different plan for what to do." A Time analysis in February found that the Trump administration has already reversed itself more than a dozen times in high-profile decisions. The surprise announcement, made via Trump's Truth Social account while top trade officials were testifying before Congress, left many lawmakers scrambling for details. U.S. Trade Representative Jamieson Greer was defending the tariffs in the middle of a House Ways and Means Committee hearing when the news of Trump's reversal came to light. Greer told the committee he was learning of the pause, quote, "in real time." "I understand it's 90 days. I haven't spoken to the president since I've been in this hearing," he said. Despite the lack of clarity, Republican lawmakers appeared largely relieved. GOP senators described cheering and clapping during a closed-door lunch as the news broke. Senator John Cornyn of Texas described a room full of lawmakers checking their retirement accounts. "Jubilation is too strong a word," he told reporters. "It was positive." Senator Ted Cruz, a Texas Republican who had publicly raised concerns with Trump's tariff strategy, framed the reversal as what he hoped was part of a broader plan to use tariffs as leverage to reduce trade barriers and boost U.S. businesses. President Trump has an opportunity to achieve one of the most extraordinary economic successes for America in history, Cruz tells Time. Today's announcement was terrific. "It proves that Trump's a good deal maker," added Senator Chuck Grassley, an Iowa Republican who introduced a bill last week that would limit the president's authority to unilaterally impose tariffs, a bill that Trump has threatened to veto if passed. "I think it brings predictability. It shows moderation. It shows that there's kind of an end game. And I think it's going to bring credibility to his whole process." Senator Rand Paul, a Kentucky Republican who has long opposed tariffs, welcomed the rollback but questioned why it had taken so long, and at such cost. "When you add a bunch of tariffs, you'll lose $6 trillion in the marketplace," he said. "When you get rid of the tariffs, guess what? It comes pounding back." He added, "I hope there's a lesson learned." Trump's latest tariff policy draws a sharp distinction between adversaries and allies, dialing back taxes on imports from Europe and North America while doubling down on punitive measures against Beijing. Under the revised structure, Chinese goods will face tariffs as high as 125%. Administration officials say the move is a deliberate effort to isolate China's practices. Currency manipulation, IP theft, and forced technology transfers as uniquely harmful. Senator Lindsey Graham, a South Carolina Republican, tells Time, "Somebody has finally called the question on China. They manipulate their currency, they steal our intellectual property, and now they're going to have to answer for it," Graham said. But for all the relief, the reversal also underscored the very instability that has unsettled global markets and strained relationships with U.S. allies. While some Republicans cast the pause as a sign of Trump's flexibility, others quietly acknowledged it as evidence of a reactive, improvisational approach that is making it harder to plan for the future, on Wall Street or in Washington. Democrats were far less forgiving. Many accused Trump of playing games with global markets and destabilizing the economy for political gain. Senator Tim Kaine, a Virginia Democrat, tells Time that Trump needs to end the emergency he declared to enact his tariffs and start over. The chaos he's injecting in the economy is horrible, Kaine adds. Right now, he's put tariffs on nations who have trade surpluses, tariffs on nations that have no trade barriers at all with the United States. It's just a nonsensical policy. Smith, the Minnesota senator, described a constituent who sold some investments after panicking over their falling retirement savings, only to watch the market rebound after Trump's announcement. She said Trump should fully reverse his tariff policy and pause the 10% rate he's imposed on most countries. Other Democrats raised more serious concerns. Senator Adam Schiff of California told Time that Congress should investigate whether Trump engaged in insider trading or market manipulation. Finally, Time reporter Rebecca Schneid writes, breaking down the insider trading accusations leveled at Trump after tariffs U-turn. It's been a volatile few days for the stock market since President Donald Trump's April 2nd announcement of 10% baseline tariffs on all imported goods, as well as additional import taxes on 60 countries. On April 9th, Trump went on to pause most of his tariffs for 3 months, while keeping in place the 10% baseline and significantly increasing the tax on imports from China. The stock market immediately surged after Trump announced his 90-day pause. The S&P 500 rocketed more than 9% Wednesday afternoon, though the Thursday saw a return to extreme volatility as the Dow dropped 1,900 points and the S&P 500 dipped 5%. Hours before he announced the pause, as stocks were still in negative territory over an intensifying trade war, Trump posted messages on his social media platform, Truth Social, that seemed to be addressed to investors. "This is a great time to buy," the president wrote, signing off with his initials DJT, which also serve as the stock symbol for his company, Trump Media and Technology Group Corp. It was noticeable that Trump signed the post with his initials, something he does not always do. Trump Media and Technology Group saw its stocks shoot up nearly 22% after the announcement of the tariff reversal on Wednesday, and they were up a further 5% in pre-market trading early Thursday morning. Trump had said in another post, as the markets opened on Wednesday morning, just a few hours before he posted his decision to pause his tariffs for 90 days, quote, "Be cool, everything is going to work out well. The USA will be bigger and better than ever before." Lawmakers have made accusations of insider trading. Senator Adam Schiff, a California Democrat, called on Wednesday for an investigation into Trump's "Great Time to Buy" post, flagging it as potential proof of insider trading or stock market manipulation. Family meme coins and all the rest of it are not beyond insider trading or enriching themselves. "I hope to find out soon," Schiff told Time. Trump previously received criticism over the launching of his Trump meme coins in January. According to the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, market manipulation is when someone artificially affects the supply or demand for a security, which can include spreading false information or rigging quotes, prices, or trades to make it look like there is more demand. Insider trading, on the other hand, is described as buying or selling a security in breach of a fiduciary duty or other relationship of trust and confidence on the basis of material, non-public information about the security. A classic example of this would be if someone privy to information that would change a volatile stock market let their close family or friends know, so that they could either sell or buy stocks in the hopes of turning a profit. Schiff and other Democrats in Congress argue that the timing of Trump's post raises legal and ethic concerns, and that Trump should make clear who knew about his tariff reversal decision before he announced it, and if any of those people let others know about Trump's decision. When asked about the timing of his decision to pause most tariffs, and when he had settled on that, Trump said in the Oval Office on Wednesday that he had been considering it for a period of time. He explained, "I wouldn't say this morning. Over the last few days, I've been thinking about it. I think it probably came together early this morning." A letter sent to Trump's White House Chief of Staff Susie Wiles and Jamieson Greer acting director of the U.S. Office of Government Ethics, on Thursday by Schiff and Senator Ruben Gallego, an Arizona Democrat, addressed a number of concerns. They called for a review of, quote, any communications between White House and executive branch agency employees and external parties, including financial institutions, brokers, dealers, that may have included non-public information. As a senator, Schiff can investigate these claims, but lacks the subpoena power that a congressional committee might employ in such an investigation. Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, a New York Democrat, also spoke out, calling for all members of Congress to disclose any stocks they had bought in the past 24 hours. I've been hearing some interesting chatter on the floor, she wrote on X on Wednesday night. Disclosure deadline is May 15th. We're about to learn a few things. It's time to ban insider trading in Congress. In Schiff's letter of inquiry, he singles out Elon Musk, who's played a high-profile role in the Trump administration through the Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE. Schiff wrote, stock in Elon Musk's company, Tesla, increased 18% immediately following the president's announcement to pause most tariffs, which Mr. Musk had publicly opposed. Meanwhile, House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, a New York Democrat, said on Thursday that House Democrats will be launching investigations into possible stock manipulation. What are experts saying about the insider trading accusations leveled at Trump? Karen Woody, professor of law at Washington and Lee School of Law, says that an investigation into whether the president or others in his circle engaged in insider trading or other illegal financial transactions is valid. Woody says, this isn't a witch hunt, where it seems like allegations that have come out of thin air. This is a pretty clear example of what we would say is some potential of real market manipulation by someone who has the ability to move the markets. Typically, the next steps, according to Woody, would be for the SEC to investigate these accusations, given that the SEC is sort of the market watchdog. However, Adam Pritchard, law professor at the University of Michigan, says that Trump's Truth Social post itself was, quote, pretty clearly not insider trading, unless there is evidence that Trump himself was trading or providing more detailed information to others privately. Pritchard said, if he, the president, says things, to Donald Trump Jr., and then Donald Jr. goes and trades on those things, when he was the only one who heard about it, then we've got an issue, right? But when Trump says things at a press conference or on social media, then no, it's not insider trading. Insider trading law can make violations of it difficult to identify, says Kevin Douglas, an assistant law professor at Michigan State University, who notes there are no federal statutes that explicitly prohibit insider trading, and current case law doesn't provide a roadmap. The Stock Act, which prohibits the president and federal employees from trading on non-public information, defines non-public information in a way that keeps the law fatally ambiguous, Douglas tells Time in an emailed statement, highlighting how the lack of a clear definition can complicate matters. Thank you for listening to Time's D.C. Brief. For more news and politics, visit time.com.